Hi, uh, welcome back to SPG, a very focused group of people who have been in touch with us on various issues which they would love to be deliberated upon. We had excellent feedback around what we have been trying to do over the last few months, including our leadership meetings, including our procurement clinic, including our expressed vision around what we wish to do around SPG. So, on behalf of SPG, I thank all our contributors as well as people who have been associated with us for your support to this initiative. We come back to you with a very important topic today. We are extremely obliged with our extremely good participants who have been giving us feedback around what they would love to hear. So, as part of our procurement clinic today, we have taken an issue which has been expressed as a need, bridging the gap from being a procurement leader to the CPO to reaching the CEO. So, we have an excellent topic to be discussed today, bridging the gap from being a CPO to CEO. And to take us through this topic in detail in terms of appreciating what competencies will I need to possess, what world perspectives, the new things which are shaping up the global economy. As a CPO, I may have certain competencies. What should I possess to become the CEO of the company? The panelists that we have got today are not only multi-industry, we have got people who come from multiple geographies. Uh, so I'll express myself in this form that I have got an audience which represents a decoupled world, but will bring in coupled insights. Before we begin today's talk, I'll request the COO and co-founder of SPG to help us appreciate what SPG is, what it does, and intends to do in the future. Then I'll take you through this journey over the next few minutes. Over to you, Gautam, for helping us appreciate what SPG is.
Thanks a lot, Pinak. Basically, SPG Leaders is a global community for procurement and supply chain professionals. This community stands on three pillars. First one is networking, where we are holding networking events for our members, because networking in procurement is normally only restricted to suppliers. But here we are, calling people physically or online for sharing of best practices, so that people can understand their peers, what they are doing from other industries and all those things. The second one is learning. Learning, we basically, this is a part of the learning pillar, like procurement clinic sessions. Then we have under development few training programs which we will be introducing sometime in March, which will be specifically for procurement and supply chain professionals. And the third pillar is career development, where we are helping procurement and professionals, supply chain professionals, to take the next step in their career. So we are mentoring them, guiding them, giving them the advice, what they should learn, what they should get certified on, so that they can move either in the same organization, move up the ladder, or maybe look for another opportunity. So this is in a nutshell about what SPG Leaders is. So over to you, Pinak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for the introduction of SPG. Now, getting back to the topic, and extremely important topic. The world has moved away from being a manufacturing centric world to a supply centric world, thanks to the events which have shaped up since COVID, since Ukraine, Russia, since Trump 2.0. I'll take a quick introduction of Ashish, Milind, and Amit. Extremely varied experiences. Beginning with Milind, spans more than 3 decades of industry experience, predominantly in EPC industry, has a track record of excellent delivery of business transformation projects in procurement. Currently is the Chief Procurement Officer of an European multinational based out of Europe. He's a personality who I also know for many years now in my professional work. And I've seen him manage global operations. I've seen him lead transformations, particularly in geographies like Middle East, where he was associated with a transformation in UAE. He was part of a transformation in Greece. Obviously, in India, he has done a lot of work. Wealth of experience and a strong track record. I welcome Milind to SPG Procurement Clinic on this topic of CPO to CEO. He's already a CPO, and I know he sits on the board of the company. So thanks for joining today, Milind.
Thank you, Pinakji. Thank you.
The second panelist that we have is Ashish Sabnis. Comes from consumer care and pharma as a very strong background. Again, over 30 years of experience. He's an expert in supply chain with a very great focus on strategic sourcing. And more importantly, in my life, I've not seen many people like Ashish who have a joint responsibility of buying, but at the same time of compliance. And it's a very unique position to be in. He has been the regional procurement director for South Asia and India subcontinent for one of the household names. I mean, one of the biggest brands that we know in pharma and consumer care. Currently, also is associated with one of the largest pharma companies in India, particularly based out of India today. Apart from his buying and compliance related portfolio, Ashish has a great flair for procurement technology, particularly the Gen AI for efficiency improvement. A great visionary leader. Again, as a coincidence, I know Ashish very closely, and I've had the privilege to see his work ethic very, very closely. So it's a great privilege to have you on SPG Procurement Clinic today, Ashish. The third
Thank you, Pinak. Thanks a lot for that. Those words.
Yeah. The third speaker we have is again from a different geography. So it's a privilege to have Amit today with more than 20 years of experience in global and regional procurement. A track record which I think many of us would love to have because he has been navigating dynamic environments and all his assignments have focused on delivering positive impact. The best thing about Amit is apart from just working across multiple industries, he has worked with engineering, he has worked with FMCG, pharma, currently is associated with healthcare. But as I said, apart from just working across many industries, Amit possesses a very unique strength, and the strength that he possesses is building strong and meaningful relationship with internal as well as external stakeholders, which I think is very, very relevant to today's topic of discussion. Currently, he's working out of Malaysia, has an excellent track record in the industry today. Thanks, Amit, for accepting the invite and being part of today's webinar. Welcome, Amit, to this webinar.
Thanks. Quite keen to join this community and part of this session. Looking forward. Thank you, Pinak.
Yes. So without consuming more time than this, I'd like to deep dive into the topic itself. The perspectives that emerge out of our discussion are going to be really beneficial to the SPG audience. And I can assure you that our audience is a very focused audience, very much an audience which keeps learning with all the leaders like you. So your insights are going to be extremely useful to all of them. Deep diving into the topic, I'll probably take a minute to pause and reflect on what's happening in the world today. We all appreciate that we are talking about a decoupled world. We are talking about a world which has probably been shifting from the world order that it has been born and brought up with for last multiple decades. Can I request Milind if you would love to throw some light on this, that in a decoupled world where supply security now is of prime importance to the enterprise, I personally think that this is going to be a feature for the next few decades again. So in your experience, is organizational view towards the supply function undergoing any change right now?
Yeah, Pinakji, thank you very much. Yes, I see that this global decoupling has shifted the supply chain view about the supply chain from a cost and efficiency function to a strategic risk and value function. Yeah, because supply security is now directly linked with a revenue continuity. Yeah, and also, of course, when you have a revenue, you have a brand associated with that. and also other related, let's say, bottom line. Yeah. In my experience, if I look at last 10 years, yeah, even before COVID, I see the leading organization changing the view toward the supply function in three clear ways. Yeah. One is from price to resilience. So if I talk about last 10 years, the CEOs or the board is not asking for, do you have a lowest cost? But what they are saying that in this kind of VUCA world, okay, can we deliver under the description? Yeah, that is what is the main I would say focus coming from the board or coming from the management. Yeah,
Fantastic.
that is the topic. Yeah. Second topic is procurement and supply chain always was been considered as a back office function. Yeah, and now due to this, let's say global decoupling, it has become now a nerve center of any company. Yeah. So if you can manage supply chain, yeah, you done. Yeah. So that is another view change in the view I see. And third, last but not least, what I see is that from a transactional execution, yeah, it is going to a scenario leadership. Okay. What I mean by this, yeah, what I mean by this, when you are in a VUCA world, it is very important. Yeah, because there is, I will say, stability of the supply chain is in question mark now. Okay.
Correct.
So it is very important from a CPO or from a head of procurement or supply chain is to already think about what kind of scenario could arise and what I will do at that time. Okay. So you cannot start digging the well when there is a fire already. So you need to have already prepare the scenarios in those lines. Yeah. So if I summarize it in the for the board level, yeah, it is really board supply security is the board level value driver today.
Oh,
yeah?
That's a great thing to hear.
Yeah. So
Thank you so much. I mean, if I can pass on to Ashish to supplement, if he has anything that he wishes to supplement on this.
So I think there are a lot of powerful statements which Milind has made. There's hardly anything I can add, but I think what has happened is this global decoupling has made the management to rethink about their opinion about procurement as a function, because previously also they did consider it as strategic, but more or less it was back office, and only when something goes wrong will they get into limelight. Right? Forget about getting a seat on the board. Milind has been lucky to get a seat on the board, but what has happened is this elevation of procurement has come only after this uncertainty which has crept in, and that's where the procurement function has got elevated and got a strategic importance. Focus mainly on resilience, because now no longer people are talking about cost. It is only about resilience. Inventory build, high inventory build is now required, and also in terms of de-risking from moving from a single source to multiple source. So diversification of supply sources is something which I think that is a key thing now, and companies looking forward to procurement to manage all this. And finally, emphasizing on end-to-end visibility, which was never ever there, and procurement was not seen as a data cruncher. They were seen only as giving information to finance or the CFO or to the CEO. But now procurement is coming in limelight, and company wants results and also to safeguard itself. So I think this feature of safeguarding is something which has not been there earlier.
Okay.
So I think these are some of the additional points I thought, and I think procurement is being looked now upon as a catalyst to integrate and geopolitical and ESG factors, which was earlier not there. Clearly, it was missing. So these are some of the I would say additional points, and increased collaboration. I think that's one point which procurement never was good at. So it was a siloed function, and these are some of the points I thought let me add. and hand over back to you.
Yeah, Amit, would you give us an insight about this? Because you're sitting out of a geography which is very much a tight geography today, and supply security probably is a critical lever for the enterprise. Would you love to share some insights around this?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Pinak. And I echo what Milin and Ashish said, that there is definitely a change into the how we used to operate as a supply chain and procurement professional versus what is the expectation. So I just wanted to add three key points. One is, what is the boardroom priority? And as Milin rightly mentioned, the supply chain resilience is shaping up the enterprise strategy, and how we really going to be act upon that, not only as a leader, but how we are going to be develop the capability of the team in those perspectives. If you ask that the resilience versus the cost or anything, is number one, security of the supply is more powerful than the cost. Definitely, the cost of goods and the consumer and business share is important. However, the consistency and the trust what we build for the consumer is very important. At the same time, the scenario planning in terms of VUCA world, what Milin rightly mentioned, we need to know what would be the adverse scenario which we are going to face, and what would be those strategy, whether it is category, whether it is enterprise level, what would be those strategy. So those are the three things which really help us in driving and navigating such kind of a changing world, which is helping us for the supply security as well as doing those strategy for the decoupling as a global business units.
Fantastic. I mean, the insights that I gained has actually prompted me to think about a very unique thing, and I've picked it up from Ashish actually. So I may request Ashish to respond on my own thought process and correct me. Ashish, you rightly said that now the need is to have end-to-end visibility. We need to have inventory as a strategic built up for resilience. We need collaboration, which means if I was to be a procurement leader of today, I would probably have to do many more things than what I've been doing till now. If you really ask me, and all of us who spend time in the industry appreciate that till yesterday, the procurement leader was recognized for his technical skills and his ability to appreciate the technical aspect of procurement, be it the supplier selection aspect, be it the negotiation aspect, was considered to be a core skill to possess. Now, Ashish, when I heard you talk, I realized that there are certain additional things now. If I were to actually elevate myself to be the CEO of the company. So, would you like to share a few thoughts around this in terms of what additional things as competencies or skills would a procurement leader need to possess to transition from his current role to a C-suite role?
Great. So I think additional skills, but before that, I think to sum up our first thing, in essence, supply function is no longer now just about procurement. Gone are those days. It is about strategic asset management.
Correct.
This is clear. And in securing the very foundation of an enterprise's operations in an unpredictable world, which is VUCA world, which Milin said. So in one line, we summarize, what procurement is expected to do. But there is a gap between what the reality is and what to expect out of procurement, and how the procurement will, in terms of step up to meet the expectation. So first is to move from procurement leadership into C-suite. Leaders need to develop strategic financial acumen. This is the most important thing. Advanced digital and data mining skills, AI analytics, etc. Predictions in terms of not only what has happened, but predicting, what can happen in next 1 year, 3 years, etc. Exceptional cross-functional stakeholder influencing, because if you do not have this skill, your peers are not going to support you for all your actions. Very deep business understanding, because procurement has one siloed view, but you do not have what the business understand is. And strong ethical leadership, ESG in particular, and mastery of storytelling with data to drive value beyond cost savings, and become a strategic business partner. So I think these are very heavy words, but I think to start with, I would say that financial literacy is important. Understanding impact on P&L, balance sheet, cash flows, shareholder value, and not just the purchase price of a material or key materials. Next is on business acumen. Deeply understand the entire business model, market dynamics, and how procurement drives overall company strategy.
Very
And
nice.
third thing is about strategic thinking, shifting from transactional to proactive, value creation focus, identifying opportunities before they become problems.
Correct.
Right? Because after, you may be a good master in solving problems, but how to ensure that the problems don't occur. So that requires some strategic thinking. Then procurement has got some additional responsibility in terms of digital and data mastery if you want to grow from CPO to CEO. So AI and tech fluency is important. Then data analytics is important. Prediction, which I already mentioned.
Correct.
One feature is leadership and influence, which I think stakeholder influencing diplomacy, storytelling, change leadership. If you need to already start behaving like a CEO to understand the problems of the other functions, support them, help them, try and integrate your business requirements into procurement requirements. And finally, I would say ethical and risk management, because if you're very good in integrating the sustainability and ethical practices into procurement strategy, you will be much appreciated. And finally, advanced risk management, proactively manage complex supply chain. Cyber attacks are happening, geopolitical risks are hitting. So from several areas, you get compromised. So how do you come out as a clear leader? I'm aware that you can't anticipate what tariffs are going to come, but I think some predictions you can do, and then safeguard the organization. And finally, I think executive communication. This is by mastering these skills, procurement leaders can transition from a back office cost center to a strategic influencing C-suite executive. I think this is what I can sum up and hand over back to you.
You have actually given me some food for thought. And I'm tempted to move it to Milind, because Milind sits as a CPO and also on the board. And one of the key things that you said is stakeholder management. Now, stakeholder management, in my opinion, is probably the anchor around which the entire competencies of that CPO need to be built. Because at the end of the day, if you are good at storytelling but not good at stakeholder management, you're worth nothing probably. You may have a good digital skill, but your stakeholder management is crucial. So, Milind, you sit at a place in the organization where stakeholder management actually is the crux for you. Now, I'm a budding procurement leader. I wish to achieve the next levels of the CPO and reaching the C-suite. Could you actually help us with a bit of understanding of this, that if what should I, as a procurement leader who wishes to shape myself to rise up to the C-suite? Now, what do I need to appreciate about stakeholder management here?
Yeah, I would say stakeholder management is always tricky. Yeah.
Okay.
It also depends on the culture. It also depends on the geography. Yeah. And it is just not about alignment, but it is also the influence as well as value creation. Yeah. During my 30 years, I've seen that, all the stakeholders, one very basic thing is that they don't like surprises. So not positive as well as not negative. Yeah. So this is very, very important thing, because sometimes we think that I say 100, and if I deliver 110, yeah, the stakeholder will be happy. Yeah. But that is not always the case. Yeah.
Yes.
So they want very clear-cut predictability. Yeah? What I see, particularly coming from a procurement and supply chain background, if we talk about CPO going to a CEO, one of the things which is very important, that we need to graduate from our functional approach towards the enterprises thinking. I think Ashish ji touched those points during his answer to your last question. Yeah. So it is very important that we look at as an organizational level, yeah, than only a procurement level. So this is one very important thing. Yeah. which could be, how we can support the growth, how we can support the resilience. Yeah. What is the risk management? Yeah. So this is very, very important. Second thing is we need to understand what is there for the stakeholder in this. Yeah. So how is their economics and incentive is working for the stakeholders? How is the organization set up? How is the stakeholder percentage of the share setup? So this is all we need to really understand. Yeah. And that also goes with the financial acumen, what Ashit ji also mentioned. This is the prime thing. Yeah. So financial, we really need to understand how financially organization works. Yeah. Third thing is to build the trust, and it is even before you need it. Yeah. Not only with the stakeholders, but also with your, let's say, fellow board members, your second management level, and in the whole team. It is very, very important that they see you as a role model. Yeah. You walk the talk, and really ethical leadership. So this is very, very important, so that they will support you on what you're doing. Yeah. And last but not least is co-create. Sometime in our procurement function, we are like this, only looking at procurement. Yeah. But I think it is very important that we need to start co-creating with other functions. Yeah. Where the dependency of other functions is more critical rather than just looking at a procurement view. Yeah. So if I want to summarize this, the moment procurement function start, shaping up the strategy and become a part of the strategy, then executing it, you're already on the way to a CEO from CPO.
Fantastic.
Yeah? Okay.
Rather,
Thank you.
while you talked a lot, I think you also used a feed from Ashish, and it struck me very clearly that both of you believe that the financial acumen of the procurement leader is very important, and he may have another competencies and skills like collaboration, trust, storytelling. These are the keywords that I have heard from both of you. But I think the standout is financial acumen, because his ability to decode the financial statements. Ashish, can I request you that I'm really curious to know that how does he build it? I mean, he builds it on the job, or he needs to build it while he co-creates value, or he needs to undergo some academic courses to build the understanding of financial statements.
So I think there are two things you yourself have told, in the answer to that question. One is, I think, the exposure. From where does the money come from, and where does the money go, and how it is utilized. So if you know this in simple layman's words, and if you're able to correlate or relate your function versus the enterprise function, and also the other functions like sales and marketing, who earns revenues, the finance organization who manages the funds, and ultimately the operations, because they will have to produce for the selling teams to sell. So you should know the acronyms by heart. What is an EBITDA, how the P&L works, what is an impact on the balance sheet. Your negotiation, if you negotiate any deal, how the payment terms add to the working capital, or even when you're speaking about, say, assets, how they translate, what is the return on capital employed. So a lot of things are there where this is beyond the work, beyond the procurement. And I think if you are able to master that, then I think we can be a successful reader. But I think if you should definitely know how to read a balance sheet and P&L, and how company is functioning, and contribute to something like how can you increase the top line, or how can you increase the bottom line. Because companies are interested only in these two words. Am I able to increase the top line, or am I able to increase the bottom line? And how can you grow profits faster than your top line? Correct. So if you understand this logic, you will be able to manage that function. Now, for the second, the question to your other question is, in terms of how to develop the skills. One is participate in cross-functional projects,
Right.
participate in, go and have a talk with your CFO if you can support him in achieving his goals. So I think then a company will be interested to even expose you to these numbers, because otherwise they will just treat you as a back office. Next thing is, in terms of understanding these basics, it won't be a bad idea to go back to the B school to take a short 6 months or a 1 year course in crash course in financial management. It will help you. Or read some books which can support you. So these are three ways in which I think you should do, and you should embrace this. Initially, you may not get it right, because from where the money is coming and where it is going, payables versus receivables. So how do you solve that problem? Can you delay the payables and can you advance the receivables? So I think these are some of the topics which procurement is only interested in payables. They are not interested in receivables. You get money from wherever you want, but pay my vendors on time. So this approach is not sustainable.
Yes.
So I think that is what I would sum up.
I agree with this. Rather, when you said that, I think many of us will resonate with this thought, and particularly Amit, who has been at the forefront of stakeholder management, internal as well as external. Amit has faced this many times, and probably I would love to hear from Amit that as a procurement guy, I'm very much focused on my domain of work, and quote unquote, it creates a functional barrier, because as Ashish was referring to that, I need my accounts payables to be cleared off. I don't care from where the money comes from. Has been a thinking process. Now, in your experience, Amit, does this type of functional focus become an impediment for a procurement leader not to actually be looked upon for a C-suite role?
Right. So thanks, Pinak. I think, yeah, as you rightly mentioned, working in one decade, 2 decade, 3 decade, person and the professional got used to of the similar thought process. And surely there is a pattern of the thinking and the actions or strategy has been made in that way. However, with my experience working not only in procurement but various supply chain function, this is very important that as a procurement professional, there is a very high strength to understand external stakeholder and how to sell to the internal stakeholder. What we heard in earlier discussion from Milin as well as Ashish, we had to really link all our story to the numbers, all our stories to the success of the enterprise wide, rather than just thinking from a functional delivery. So when I was thinking on this thought process, that whether it is really impacting the functional thinking to really bridge those gaps from CPO to the CEO, definitely these are the couple of thought. Like, there are three things. What is your mindset? Whether you have an enterprise mindset and how you really translate your functional aspect to the enterprise level. So think beyond not only the supply chain and procurement, but business as a whole. The second thing, if you talk to build that kind of a trust and credibility within all the function, what we need to build is cross-functional fluency. So how we can talk the language of quality, how we can talk the language of R&D, what kind of things, what commercial and operation is looking forward. So where is that fluency during your aspect or the strategy what you are making to build more resilience and deliver those cross-functional fluency. Perfect. At the same time, the procurement or supply chain is the function who is the integrator of all the function, like break the silos. When you are developing for your alternate source, when you are developing for any kind of a risk mitigation, you have to work closely with a lot of function. So those are the things which already gives us a path for the supply chain and procurement professional to really think beyond your function. Yeah. And this is really going to help each individual how they can overcome the functional thinking and bridge those kind of a gap. So those are the thought which I would like to share on the breaking those functional aspect and creating a co-creation value, as Milind rightly mentioned, and make those as a enterprise thinking rather than a only function.
I completely agree with you, Amit, because it resonates with me because I'm very close to a case where I'm working with a technology company, and in many technology companies today, they're looking at procurement as a uh, rather very strategic role. Rather, one of the most valued organizations in the world is Apple, and Tim Cook was a chief procurement officer. And then he became the CEO, and everyone was surprised that with the flair of Steve Jobs to innovation, creativity, he chose the CPO to become the CEO. And I think Tim Cook has created more shareholder value than anyone in the history of Apple. So I think there's a very important CPO to CEO change that can create a lot of value for all stakeholders, including the shareholders of the company. I just want to throw it open to all three of you that I see this very significantly in tech companies. They're showing procurement as their clear advantage function. In your respective domains where you currently are working, or any other case that comes to your mind where you're seeing this, a CPO to CEO transition is shaping up. I'll be happy to hear from any one of you.
Yeah, Pinakji, if I look at in automotive and manufacturing industry, I see procurement and supply chain really playing a critical role in the business continuity as well as margin protection. Again, coming to VUCA word, you can see any cost can rise. So it is very important that procurement and supply chain, work on margin protection. Second thing, if I look at the EPC industry, here I see even the procurement role in winning the projects as well as delivering on time. Yes. Because these are the very, very big project like 1-2 billion euro or even higher than that. And every day after the timeline has a penalty. So the procurement as well as supply chain has a very critical role.
Yes.
Yeah? Another thing which was been, I will say this is coming up from last 5 years more is about the market intelligence. Yeah? I think procurement being connected in the market through the suppliers. Yeah? There is such a big, information or market intelligence which procurement can bring on the table is really good. Yeah. And of course, I love all the advanced negotiation tools, but one of the tool which I have been using it for last, I will say 15 years, very, very aggressively is technical supplier day. Okay. Where we used to call our strategic supplier to our place, and then we expose them to our cross-functional team where they only talk about technical development. Yeah, what they did it in last 2 years, what they are planning to do in next 2 years. Yeah, so this was really been well appreciated by the even stakeholders, by the cross-functional team. Yeah, so this is what very I nice. See. Yeah, so in the GIST, when procurement start focusing on business survival and growth, yeah, then you are already on the way to become a CEO, as you rightly given an example of Apple. Yeah, which is the case according to me. Okay. Thank you.
Ashish or Amit, would you like to?
Yeah, I think this is very dear to my heart in terms of first is about technology. Milind already mentioned about technology. So there are two clear organizations which come to my mind in terms of technology. One is, of course, Apple, and second is Amazon. So the Apple procurement team, you talked about Tim Cook, but what procurement there is not about cost negotiation or about purchase orders, or it's graduated far beyond that.
Yes.
So procurement strategy goes beyond cost management in these organizations, and they ensure product innovation. Procurement participates in product innovation and design integrity. These are two keywords where procurement of Apple differentiates from the other procurements of the world. Second thing, and integrating this innovation with the business so that the product comes out and everybody is willing to pay for the product. Yeah. So where to play and how to win. So these are the two things Apple has learned it excellent. Second is about Amazon. Now, Amazon has what they do is they leverage on advanced analytics, because this is the most important thing. They are into retail, so advanced analytics, machine learning, and robotics. These are the three pillars of Amazon, which help procurement and supply chain to excel. So these are about the two examples I can think of on technology. As far as automotive is concerned, nothing to beat Toyota, because they are far ahead. They can make even a single car, and they have graduated beyond just in time and Six Sigma. They have reached zero defect. So I think use of technology for Toyota is excellent. I would say that group. And the next group is the German group where Milinji is sitting, is BMW. So BMW procurement drive sustainability and innovation, right? These are the two pillars on which BMW thrives. And the strategy involves rigorous supplier assessment for environment, social, and governance. So ESG is the focus of BMW. Now we come to retail, where two clear examples we can think of is Walmart and Unilever. So Walmart again, focuses on leveraging its immense scale and technology, both. One is scale and second is technology, to optimize their supply chain, correct? And drive the prices down, because to beat Walmart is not that easy, because they know the best of they know how to even extract water out of rock, right? So that's where Walmart believes in. And finally, the dream company is Unilever. So what Unilever does is they utilize a cloud-based procurement platform to manage its extensive supply base across the globe, correct? Across the supply network. So even if it has to be imported from China, they will import, even if it is available in India. But then the way they manage their supply chain using cloud is excellent. And they have also strong focus on sustainability, ethical practices, and of course, responsible partner policy. So if you read the policy of Unilever, responsible partner policy is important. So I think these are some of the tech examples I can think of. And then over to you.
Yes. Amit, anything to add over and above this?
Yeah. So I think just one thing which remained everywhere in the world is the COVID time. So you will find that industry like healthcare and pharma, the access to the patient, and that is only possible because of all those supply chain and procurement people taken those kind of a stringent decision, but at the same time creation that kind of a access to the patient across globe. It's not like a one region or something, but it is across. If you see that the EV in the auto sector is coming, how the technology is really helping us as a leader to close those kind of a rare earth EV successes. Similarly, in terms of a retail industry, what we have seeing is the reshaping everything. Just to take a very small example of Blinkit or Zepto, how the supply chain is really changing and what kind of a resilience they are building. So those are the things which is coming beyond your technology, beyond your other things, and that is shaping up the new world, new requirement, and new norms, basically. So those are the examples.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a very well-rounded discussion for so long that we have been having, and I would probably close it with a summary that helps all of us. First and foremost, I've immensely gained from what we have spoken for last so many minutes now. Milind, Ashish, Amit, your insights have been wonderful. I mean, certain things which only come up during discussion, that cannot be planned, and that's the key takeaway for me today. It's been a lucid discussion without any preempting of what one should speak or not, and I'm very thankful to all three of you. I sit as a emerging procurement leader, and my key takeaways, which I think are very useful from this discussion, is it's a VUCA world, and we need to be visible to the board today. That's one of the things that I've heard very clearly from all three of you. We are a boardroom priority for the future. but it doesn't come free of cost, which means I'll have to work very hard if I am a procurement leader. The focus has to shift away from being just price to resilience. There's a cost of resilience which I need to be aware of. Examples which Ashish shared, for example, of inventory built up and supplier collaboration, multiple sources. These are all cost of resilience that one needs to think about. If I were to be an emerging leader wishing to sit in the CEO's role, my ability to have excellent stakeholder management, which may require me to possess certain skills beyond my technical skills. I should be a good storyteller. I need to create value. I need to sit and understand the stakeholder for his incentives of sitting on the board, build trust. More importantly, I like the statement which came from Milind, which was stakeholders don't like surprises. So, as a good procurement leader, I need to bear that in mind. I'll have to think of that. As Amit rightly pointed out, probably we need to now think more about being an enterprise perspective than a functional perspective. Ashish, I think, made a very important point for me as a procurement leader aspiring to be a C-suite leader, that Pinak, you need to have financial acumen. Now, he also gave us insight into how to build that acumen, what sources can be tapped. And again, it went back to saying that, look, can you really go to your CFO and say, I can help you in a project? Which means, again, it goes back to cross-functional collaboration. While I am a procurement leader aspiring to be the C-suite guy, I'll also have to go beyond a stakeholder, beyond finance, beyond being the priority for the boardroom. But my mindset matters. And in the VUCA world that we live in, the mindset probably has to be more proactive than reactive. Two things which are very crucial is how do you leverage on the market intelligence, because we are one way front end of the organization, so we know what the supplier community and the product development initiatives are taken. And secondly is we'll have to focus on business growth and contribute towards business growth. That's in a nutshell what I gained from this talk, and I'm really thankful to you because you wholeheartedly shared the insights without holding back, saying that, look, let me not share this here. So I'm really grateful to you for having had this beautiful conversation for the last an hour or so now, and we'll see each other sometime very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Pinak.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the
Bye-bye.
opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Most welcome.
We can stay back if required, or we'll log off.
I'll just stop the recording.